Hello, everybody. Ooh, my fuzzies. It's me, Pippi Longstocking, and Anthony. I'm back at Anthony's tonight by popular demand. So tonight we have yet another Big Brother legend, but I know that's not a surprise because this whole week has been full of Big Brother legends, which I'm extremely blessed about. But Derrick Levasseur, he is known as one of the best Big Brother players of all time. He won season 16, and also we have something else. No, I wouldn't say in common, but maybe a common interest, if you will. He works. He used to be a cop, and now he's on this show called Breaking Homicide, I think. It's Breaking Homicide, I think. I don't watch TV. All I know is that it's about unsolved murders. And I'm into unsolved murders. So we're going to talk about JonBenet Ramsey, O.J. Simpson, Carole Baskin. I'm so excited.
Keeping up with the times there.
But we're also going to talk about Big Brother stuff. And quarantine life, and now I know how to use the question tab. Finally. So here we are, but I'm not good at it yet because it's hard to be reading the questions while you're talking to somebody. It's hard.
We'll make it work.
We'll make it work, but
well, you'll make it work.
Let's see. I just was talking to him, so we'll see if he is in here. No, he's not in here yet. I always get a little bit nervous that they're gonna ditch.
Has anybody actually ditched yet?
No. Derrick could be the first. He could be the first. We don't know yet. Oh, Karen, our only one Karen. Trust me, I cannot wait to talk conspiracy theories with Derrick. Like, this is like my dream come true. Yes, I mean, we do need to talk about Carole Baskin. We absolutely have to talk about Carole Baskin. Okay, D-Sub89. In the meantime, let's talk conspiracies. Aliens are real. The Pentagon came out this week, like literally 2 days ago, with video footage of UFOs just flying around. But the world is so crazy right now that no one seems to care. But UFOs are real. I, for one, am excited. I think that the day... okay, by the way, let me just say that... Kay Helms, how could they not be real? You cannot say that we live in a universe full of, like... Nothing. Like...
Nothing else.
Yeah, nothing else but us. Like, no, that's crazy talk. So, no, there's definitely aliens out there. But, okay, so unpopular opinion, or maybe it's popular, I don't think that just because they're aliens doesn't mean that they're, like, gonna come kill humanity. Like, that doesn't mean they're mean. With that being said, I would probably shit my pants if I saw a UFO in the sky and like aliens took over. I'd be like, ah. But I don't think that they're like, I don't know. It's kind of like whenever you go visit another country, you know, like you're not, yeah. Well, like, like just because you're not from here doesn't mean that you're gonna like take down the other country. Okay, wait, Derrick's here. He's probably wondering what the heck we're talking about.
Talking about.
With that being said, enter in Derrick. Connecting. Hello, yeah. Derrick.
Hey, what's up?
Nothing.
Trying to get myself situated here.
What's going on?
Trying to get myself situated here. My AirPods weren't connecting. Technology, you gotta love it.
I know. Well, I'll tell you what. We run a tight ship here on my Instagram Live, but production is not always top notch. So
okay. All right.
So don't be intimidated by our setup.
I am very intimidated, but I'll try to keep my composure.
Same. Okay, I'm so glad that you brought that up because same. I'm nervous.
Why? Why are you nervous?
It's an honor to meet you. Thanks for coming. Because Derrick, you're a legend.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you're known as being like the greatest Big Brother player of all time.
You probably said that to like every single guest you've had this week.
I did say I did say I did say it to Dan. I did say it to Dan. I did not say it to Tyler and Angelo.
Tyler's
You told Tyler that Dan said he was one of the best. So
yeah,
Tyler's goatish. Tyler's goatish for sure. Tyler's one of my favorite.
Wait, okay, so let's hop in. I want to know, who is your favorite, I guess, ever since you got off Big Brother in the most recent seasons, who's your favorite player of Big Brother?
Probably Tyler. Yeah, probably Tyler for sure. Yeah, Tyler. Yeah. I really like Tyler for his gameplay and how he conducted himself in there. I'll tell you who else I really like, Tommy. And I've told Tommy this. I'm sorry, but just because Tommy, like through the whole game, didn't forget how much of a privilege it is to be on the show. And like, even I, like, you forget it when you're in there, and he didn't. Like, he literally embraced every moment of it. And watching his excitement about the different things he got to experience, like, made me appreciate again, like, what I got to experience and like how you sometimes take it for granted. So it was a nice, like, check back to reality.
That.
Yeah, it's
that
true.
That is so true.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, so before we hop into more Big Brother questions.
Before you hop into anything, did you tell him how we met? Like how you introduced yourself to me? I got a kick out of that. Yeah. So she messages me. I'm gonna tell you this story. She messages me and says, "Hi, Derrick. I'm Kat from Big Brother 2021."
I said, "I'm a house guest from Big Brother 21."
I'm a house guest from Big 21. I'm like, and literally my response, and I left it like this, was, "Did you just introduce yourself as Kat from as a house guest?" You're like, "I don't know if you know me or not." I'm like, "Yeah, Kat, I know who you are. I'm not living in a box somewhere.
Well,
I know who you are."
I'm not going to be that person that assumes that you know who I am.
You must assume I watch TV.
I don't know. I mean,
You know?
I don't
We're
know.
Kind of on the same show. You know?
Well, but I just didn't want to. I didn't want to assume anything.
I appreciate the humility. I appreciate being humble. I appreciate it.
I don't know. Maybe like a lot of people. I think DirecTV dropped Big Brother for like a couple weeks while I was on the show. Maybe that was your TV provider, and you didn't really watch the weeks that I was on.
No, I wasn't under a rock. I saw you on the show, and you did great, and I know who you are. And I just literally was like, it was very polite. You were very polite, but I was just like, no, I know who you are, Kat. I've seen you once or twice.
It's better than popping in there and going, "Yo, what's good?"
Yeah, like, "Hey, bro."
Well, she did technically start off the message with Derrick. Actually, and then she went into the other thing. But no, it was great. It was great. And of course, like, I think what you're doing is great. I think this is good during the quarantine to kind of like have some, something to get away for an hour. So I was all about it for sure.
Oh, yeah. Well, thanks for joining us. It's an honor. It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Pleasure's all mine.
So what have you been doing during quarantine?
Probably about the same as you. Working. I do a lot of private investigations, for different companies, and I've been teaching my oldest daughter too, because obviously she's not in school right now. So half my day is spent working on cases, and I like investing in stocks. So I spend half day day trading, doing my work, and then the other half teaching my daughter about shapes and using shadow puppets to draw, and it's fun.
How old is your daughter now?
7.
7. Aw, fun.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So it's two different ends of the spectrum, but both fun.
So wait, I guess has anything, but other than teaching your daughter how to do shapes and what'd you call them? Shapes and what? Shapes and
shadow puppets. Like today, her art project was to make a shadow puppet and then trace it and then fill in what she thinks the shadow puppet looked like on the paper.
That's fun.
Sure.
Wow. That was a lot more fun than school that I remember. But actually, wait. So, question: is it kind of fun seeing your kids' schoolwork now? Because
it's awesome.
I guess maybe a 7-year-old, that's all probably pretty easy for you. But is there anything that you're like, I don't even know how to do this? I don't
Nothing
know.
yet.
I don't know
Honestly,
to be able to teach your kids something.
I think the coolest thing is like you don't realize how your children inherit traits that you've never even taught them. Like it's just inherently in them. So like for me, I learn a certain way, and like when I was in school, the teachers didn't realize it. So as a kid, I had really bad grades, and then when I finally had teachers who understood how my mind worked, which is more visual and hands-on, I excelled. And to see her, like, I'll teach her something in a book, she'll read it and she won't comprehend it, but then I'm like, you know what I would have done well with if they taught it this way? Let me try it with her. And she's like, oh yeah, I get it now.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, it's so crazy because it's like you realize that, well, that's, other than the fact that she looks exactly like me, it's so cool to realize like genes actually do matter. Like it's what they inherit from you without even like knowing it. So it's cool to like watch her learn, watch her process. Like when she figures something out, she's so excited, and it could be just as simple as like a math problem. But like when they finally get it and they're like, I know how to do this, it's like, it's gratifying. So that's like the blessing of this whole thing is like having that one-on-one time, because you have to, right? So it's good.
That's so much fun. And you're so close with your family. I feel like you've always been, even when you're on Big Brother, you're always such a family guy.
Yeah. I mean, and now, if you're not close with them, you're going to be a problem because you can't escape
Yeah,
it.
because now you're living with them and you can't escape them.
Exactly.
So, I'm everything out of me. It's taking everything out of me not to bring up your detective work right now.
Okay.
I want to talk about Big Brother first, but please tell me more about your job as a private investigator, your show, breaking homicide, and just.
You guessed right there, but you got it right. Good job.
Well, I don't watch TV, so I'm not
Okay.
very on the up and up with all the shows. But what I am on the up and up with are unsolved murders, and we have a lot to talk about.
Yeah, there's a lot of those out there. Yeah, no, I have a firm, a consulting firm, where basically we'll get different types of cases. We do family reunifications, which is basically someone will reach out, they lost their father or their mother at a young age, they're not dead and they want to find them, brothers and sisters, cousins, we do all that. Missing persons cases, unsolved murders where, if they want us to fly out there, we will. But in a majority of the cases, they're sending me everything they have, and I'm looking at it and writing a report based on my recommendations of what they could do, what the police departments could do, different things like that. And then obviously the show, when the show comes around, we're doing the show, it's all out because they're paying for it. So we'll travel to whatever state or whatever island like Hawaii it's on, and I'll spend a couple weeks there and just go start from ground zero. Like I was just assigned the case and go through it from start to finish and see if I come up with something different than the original detectives did.
Okay, so I'm really good at Facebook stalking, social media stalking. Somebody can give me the clues of who so-and-so's dating, and I can figure it out like that. Would I be a good private investigator? Or what is the number one thing that maybe people don't know, a quality that you have, the quality that a private investigator would have to have?
I think to your point, what you just said is curiosity, right? Like a thirst for the truth. I
don't know if that's curiosity or just being crazy on my end, but
it's a human thing to want to have resolution, right? I think that's why people are so fascinated with unsolved murders or unsolved crimes in general, because it's innately built in us to want the answer. Like, what happened to this person? Where are they? I think that's why with all these true crime docuseries that come out, there's such a fascination around it. It's not because someone lost a loved one or a child has been taken. That's sad. But it's the idea, the question of what happened that we all kind of become wrapped up in. And so you have to have a strong urge for curiosity and not willing to settle, because if it were easy, everyone would do it. So you have to have that curiosity, but then the determination and patience to put in the time needed and to also think outside the box, because that's what you're going to have to do to come up with a different result than what the original detectives did.
So what do you think happened to John Benet Ramsey?
Oh God. I mean, I have to be careful what I say because someone's already been sued $750 million.
Really?
Yeah, but I will say that based on the facts.
I'm probably the next one to get sued.
Yeah. Well, you probably won't because you're not in that field, but someone could take this and put it. But I would say that for me, from what I've seen, and also colleagues of mine who worked on the series that was on CBS, but also FBI agents that I know that worked in the behavioral analysis unit. Yeah. It's suggestive that whatever happened to her was someone she knew. And I know there's a strong...
Can I say who it was?
For sure.
Burke did it. Burke. It was Burke.
Okay. Say Burke might have... Say Burke could have done it.
Okay. Burke could have done it. But let me just say this. Allegedly. I don't think that he meant to, because he was a young kid. I don't think he meant to. And then I think that the parents covered it up because they had already lost their daughter and they were so heartbroken and they didn't want to risk losing their son. So it's a really heartbreaking story. It's not like a story of a scary murderer. It's really too bad. That's
a very, very good assessment, Kat. I'll just say that. It's a very good assessment.
I told you I could be a private investigator.
And sometimes the simple answer is the right one, right? You know what I mean? Then you have to think about exculpatory evidence. And exculpatory evidence is evidence that would rule someone out. And in this particular case, there's no exculpatory evidence for the dad, the mom, or the brother. And that's interesting because they were in the house and it's tough to explain where they were during those moments. But like you said, it's unfortunate regardless. It's not going to bring her back. Yeah. And if it was in fact a family member, we're never going to have the answer because they're not going to, her mother's already dead. And the father, like you said, is not going to lose his son to something that he didn't intentionally mean to do. If that's what happened.
It's so sad. If. Don't sue us.
Always say that. Allegedly, that's one thing you'll find. Say that always and you're good.
Okay, so I hope I don't get you in trouble on this, but I just have so many questions.
You're good.
O.J. Simpson, did you do it?
I did a whole series on OJ.
I know. So that's why I knew that you were the one to go to on this.
Based on the facts and circumstances surrounding the case, I think he did do it, and I think there was probably someone else with him. I really do, and I was really. No, I ruled out the son. The son has what we just referred to as exculpatory evidence. He could not have been there. I found his time card. He was at a restaurant at the time when the murders occurred, but there was evidence left behind. I don't know how deep in the weeds you want to go with this, but there was DNA evidence.
So deep.
There was blood. There was certain things, the blood viscosity. So basically what that means is the way the blood hits the ground and how far it kind of expands when it hits the ground tells you how tall or short the person was.
Like on Dexter.
Like Dexter. I never watched Dexter, but yeah, probably like Dexter, blood spatter recognition. It's suggestive that there were two people there, and there was actually a book written about a possible second person. And for me, I just feel like it would have been difficult to do what happened to both Nicole and Ron with just one person. I think one person would have had to been, restrained while the other person was being murdered. That's just my suggestion. And OJ was a Hall of Famer, one of the best running backs of all time. He had 1 million groupies. So it wouldn't take many people who would want to and he not only groupies, but people who were good friends and very loyal to him. Yeah. And you might say, well, why wouldn't they come forward? Well, now they're accessory to murder. So that's why they wouldn't come forward, because they're going to jail too. So there's incentive for that person not to come forward. If in fact OJ did it, if in fact there was somebody else. Yeah. But I said it on the show that I believe he was there. Yeah. I said it on the show. I believe he was there, and there's been nothing to rule him out otherwise.
Wow. Did you ever see the ESPN 30 for 30 on O.J. Simpson?
Yeah, absolutely.
Brilliant.
Yeah, it was really, really good. It was. I even thought the series on FX was good too.
I know. I need to watch that. It's
really good.
I've seen a lot of O.J. Simpson documentaries, but I haven't seen that one yet, so I'll have to watch.
It's a fascinating story because people are drawn to it because to see someone who was so high, like he lived a life that most of us dream about, and to have him fall from grace like that.
Yeah, it's like it would be comparable. Like, I don't even know if there's a star comparable to the magnitude that he had back then. I mean, maybe I can't, because he carried the Olympic torch. I mean,
he was a big deal. He was a big deal. And I mean, there's still a lot of supporters that support him. And I think anytime you get like a celebrity involved, people are fascinated by it because they think their lives are so perfect. And the reality is behind closed doors, for some of them, it's not.
No. And that's a reason why the scene of the murder was so messed up, and why he got off was because all the detectives and everything were so starstruck that they were at his house. So it was so much tampered evidence because they were just looking around his house and everything. Which, I don't know why I'm telling you this, because you're like, yeah, I know this.
No, but there were some detectives involved with the case that had biases towards certain races, and you can't have that in law enforcement. So unfortunately, having them there completely discredited the entire department. And it was during a time when they were having the LA riots. And when you have a police that Rodney King, all these things were happening, and then you have this celebrity who's there, and you have detectives on tape saying racial slurs, and you have questions about the gloves and where they were found, and they happen to be found by this one detective. Yeah, I think a jury has the right to question that. But the reality is, when you look at the facts and you take out those variables, it's pretty clear that he was around. He was there.
Yeah. No, he absolutely was. And even the footprint.
Yeah, it was exactly his Manolo shoes, the exact same type. Yeah. There's a million things. The gloves.
They think they slick.
Yeah, the gloves didn't fit his hands. You hear the gloves don't fit. You must have quit. Yeah. He had arthritis in his hands, and what a lot of people don't know is before that whole glove thing happened, he stopped taking his arthritic medication, and his hand swelled up. And more importantly, try putting on a pair of winter gloves that are tight to begin with.
And there were leather shrinks.
Leather shrinks, and then having latex gloves underneath them.
Wow.
So, and if I go like this when I'm putting on a glove, it's probably not going to fit.
Dang, if they had you, he wouldn't have gotten off.
Not necessarily so. I do think the prosecution made a mistake by having him try on the gloves. And at the end of the day, I think, coulda, shoulda, woulda. There's been other people that have gotten off, but we also know there are people who have been convicted of crimes they didn't commit. So there's no perfect system, unfortunately.
I don't want to get too deep in the unsolved murders because I don't want to get you in trouble, but.
Okay. I don't want to get you in trouble, but I'm gonna.
But I'm going to. No, okay. I can't remember her name, and I can't believe I can't remember her name. But she was studying abroad in Paris. Her roommate got murdered. What is her name?
Jodi Arias.
No. That's another one.
Her roommate got murdered. I'm
Her,
sure
yeah,
someone.
she's studying abroad in Europe. Her roommate got murdered, and then
No, not
she,
Jodi Arias. I know the one she got. She
what,
was convicted and then she was exonerated, right?
yes,
Yeah. What's her name? She has a book.
yes. They just came
It's
out with the documentary.
yeah. It's super
Amanda
known.
Knox.
Amanda Knox. Yeah.
Yes.
Why did I say
So,
Jodi Arias? She's the other one.
Okay, this is the one that I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you think Amanda Knox is guilty? Because I thought she was for sure, and then I saw the documentary, and now I'm not so sure.
The fact that I didn't even know her name, I clearly don't have enough knowledge.
Okay.
I don't really know the case that well, but I know it was a really cool, like, I don't want to say cool, but from a detective perspective,
very intricate.
It was a very rare case, and it had a lot of moving parts to it. But I think overall, like, from what I understand, she was vindicated. She was cleared of any charges because of what came out. I don't know if there was a technicality on it, but yeah, I don't really know anything about it. I know of her, but that's about it.
I wonder who did it, though. We got to figure this out, Derrick.
Let's get on it.
Let's
get on it. Let's get on it.
The duo that they never knew they needed.
Imagine if they just started doing where they just like random people who wanted to be detectives and started working with actual detectives. That might be a cool concept, actually. Not gonna solve a lot of cases, but it might be a cool concept.
Derrick,
it's like Kat. You can't step in the blood. You can't do that. No, don't touch the knife, Kat.
I don't know if I want to do murder mystery or murders, but Area 51. I'm in.
Oh, UFOs. Yeah, I saw your little thing about that. That was hilarious on the show. That was fucking hilarious.
Do you believe in aliens?
Oh, do you swear on your show? I swear a lot. I try to keep it down though.
Oh, I say bitch.
Okay, I swear.
I keep the F word to a minimum because my mom watches it and she gets very offended if I say that.
All right, I just swore, so I'm sorry, Kat's mom.
Yeah. They call her name's Fun Mindy. You'll see her in the comments.
Fun Mindy.
She's fine. It makes me look better if you swear because then it's like, see, I'm not the only one, Mom.
Yeah, no, I have a terrible mouth, so I apologize, Fun Mindy.
Well, it's okay. I mean, I said bitch so many times on TV, and
yeah, you did.
Yeah. I didn't realize that I didn't realize that they were gonna air it because I didn't realize.
Well, they aired it. I mean, you're making a brand out of it now, so clearly.
I know.
Yeah.
It's not even a bad word anymore, really.
No, it's really not. It's really not.
Okay, so do you believe in aliens?
I believe that there's definitely to assume that in how big the universe is, that we are the only living species in the entire universe, I think is absolutely insane. I think anybody who believes that's an idiot. So I do, if you don't believe in like religion and you think about us from a science perspective, a biological perspective, and how we were created, to think that's never happened anywhere else is insane. Yeah. So yeah, and I think, I definitely think there's life beyond Earth, and unfortunately our capabilities are not there where we can explore. What are we, like 1% of the entire universe? Like, imagine, think about that. Like less than 1%. So
I believe it.
Yeah. So yes, I do. I 100% think there's something beyond what we know.
Wow, Derrick, we have a knack for solving unsolved murders. We both believe in aliens. We might be the best final two there never was.
You probably been making final twos with every single castmate that you've had
just
on the show.
Just in case.
Just in case. You're going to go in there and be like, hey, out of the 15 people here, I got final twos with 14 of them. So.
No, you're actually the first one that I've actually made a final two with. So.
Okay. Well, we won't tell anybody. Hopefully,
yeah, we won't tell anyone. Nobody that's watching this, nobody tell anybody.
There's Big Brother people in here watching because they're like, I'm studying this shit just in case, No. Everyone's so bored right now.
Do you think that they would ever have an all-star season, though?
Yeah, I think it's possible. I think like a situation like we're in right now is like the perfect situation. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like when they had all-stars last time, it was due to a writer's strike. So you know what I'm saying?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they had like two, I believe, and some people in here are probably bigger BB fans than me, but like my understanding was they did 2 seasons in 1 year because of the writer's strike, and so that's kind of how it came to be, Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Somebody will call me out if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
Yeah, I don't know.
So when you have a situation where I know Robin was casting, people like crazy before this, if they're concerned about not having enough of like a vetting process, what's the best thing to do is bring back returning players. You know what you're getting. And so whether it would be all-stars or just returning players, this would be the time to do it.
Oh, wait. Everyone's saying that BB9 was writer strike season.
Oh, you know what? They're right. 100% right. 100% right. But they still did All-Stars.
Don't pack my bags, Anthony. It's cool.
But did they do All-Stars in the same, like, didn't they do back-to-back, like, whatever it is? But now would be the time to do it. To answer the question, now would be the time to do it, for sure.
No. Well, okay. Somebody told me not to ask you this because you get asked this all the time, but I'm going to ask you because why not?
Yeah.
Would you ever go back for an All-Star season?
Under the right, a year ago, I would have said no. Because I truly believe, like, I had a great experience my first time.
Yeah.
But if I were to go back and it was the right situation, the right amount of days, my family was okay with it, and there were, like, players in there that, like, I wanted to see how I stacked up against.
But you wouldn't know who was in there until you got in.
You would know.
Or would you try to ask them, would you ask them who was going
I would have to assume that if it's an all-star season, who they would ask. Like, there's a certain list of people I think that you and I could probably put together right now, people they're definitely going to ask.
All right, so would you play against Tyler Crispin?
I would want to play with Tyler Crispin. I'd want to work with him. Like, he's a great player, and I think he's a genuine dude. I think I could trust him. So if Tyler was in there, yeah, of course.
Okay.
Of course I'd want to play with him. Yeah.
He just seems like a hard. I don't know if I'd want to play against him.
I mean, well, you're technically playing against everybody,
Yeah.
but the question is, you don't have to play against someone in the beginning,
Yeah.
right? Like
I want to play against someone that was like really bad.
Well, if you're going on the All-Star season, that's not going to happen.
Fair enough.
You know? So, yeah, I mean, it would have to be under the right circumstances. I wouldn't be going there for, like, just for the fun of it. So if I felt like it was a challenge and it was something that would push myself, then I would do it, because the experience of going on Big Brother, I've already had it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And I no matter what I do, I don't think I'm going to have a better experience than I did the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Even if
you won.
But even if I won a second time, like, I just had, like, the perfect cast and the perfect, like, story, and, like, we had things that we went through in there, like losing our grandparents and stuff. Like, you can't make that shit up. You know what I mean? Like, we bonded so well in there. So I don't know if it would be the same the second time around, but if I felt like there was a situation that would challenge me personally, then I would consider it. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Is this the first time you're ever saying that? This, like, in an interview?
I've said I'd never play again, because I wouldn't play like a coach's season. I wouldn't play like, something where I'm just sitting in a house for 3 months mentoring someone, because what am I going there for? What am I proving? But if I had the opportunity to, like, challenge myself against people who are some of the best players ever, that's kind of cool. You know, that's kind of cool. So I would consider it. But if they came back to me and said it's going to be 150 days or something like that, I mean, obviously I don't think I could do it. There'd be a lot of little variables. Number one being, like, my kids being okay with it, like my family being okay with it. But yeah.
Man, well, you heard it here. You heard it here first, folks.
Final two.
Yes. If I will take you up on it. Well, like my ass is gonna be asked back for an all-star season, but thank you for putting me in the same ranks.
Survivor has changed a lot of people's opinions with Winners at War. Like before Winners at War, I probably wouldn't have said that, but like seeing like all these winners on the same season going after it, like, you get like fired up. I think
that would be really cool to see all the winners of Big Brother go against.
Never happen. It'll never happen.
I think it'd be so cool though.
It'll never happen, and rightfully so, because Survivor. I know a lot of Survivor players. It's 30 days. You can get away for 30 days.
Quick.
100 days is a different animal, and a lot of people cannot leave their work or families for that amount of time. So for anyone who thinks it'll be an all-winner season, it's never going to happen.
Yeah, but it would be cool though.
I'm there if it happens, but it ain't happening.
So I guess who is one person? So, Dan got this question from somebody, so I'm gonna ask you the same one because I thought it was good. Who is somebody who you would be absolutely intimidated to play against in the Big Brother house from every season of Big Brother?
Intimidated? Mm-hmm. Oh man, don't tell me what Dan said. Damn, I'm gonna get heat for this. I wouldn't be scared of anybody.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Oh, really?
Damn. So that's the mentality, people, that you have to have as a winner.
Well, I mean, think of what I went through in my life as a cop and stuff. Like, I'm going to be scared of getting voted out by someone?
Yeah. Wow.
No.
Wow, folks. But that's so true. But that's why y'all won, because you're not intimidated by
Nobody should be, though, because the worst case scenario is you go home. Like, I'm not going to be intimidated. Like, you know what you're capable of, right? Like, I mean, at the end of the day, let's just go with it. Let's just go and see who's standing at the end.
I would be intimidated by a couple people.
Well, you shouldn't be. You should have more confidence. Well, who would you be intimidated by?
You, for one.
Why?
Because you, I think that the most dangerous players at Big Brother are not the ones that like necessarily are winning comp after comp, but the ones that are so smooth and have such a smooth social game and are like, so, can make you feel like, it's such a great quality in life. Like when you make somebody feel like they are your, like, you know, number one person, and you kind of like become, because that's what your gameplay was. You could convince other people to make those decisions for you and to make the moves for you, or not decisions for you, but you know, like you had your plan, but other people did it for you. And while they were doing your dirty work, they were thinking like, oh, like he's my final two, he's my boy. And it's great gameplay, but I am that kind of girl that would absolutely fall for that and be like,
yeah, but you were kind of doing that though.
No, in my head,
You were playing both sides though.
I was
like
trying, yeah.
you did it for a while. You did it
What?
for a while. And so, I mean, I think it's one of those things where you can look at it and be like intimidated by it, or you can use it to your advantage. You know what I mean? Like
True.
at the end of the, and I will say this, like I pride myself on when I was in there, like I definitely lied and stuff because Big Brother, but like my biggest attribute was just being straight up with people.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I sent Devin home, I told him I was sending him home. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like I think when you gain credibility and you gain currency in there, when they're like, he said he was going to do it and he did it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because that's
true.
so rare in the game. So when you do that over and over, people start to believe you. So if you do have to pull a string or two, you can later on. But the first half of the game, if you're starting off on a foundation that's faulted, you're never going to be able to build that house. So you got to go in there, trust the people you trust, be honest with them. And if they burn you, then that's on them. But if you all get together collectively and stay true to what you are, you're probably going to go pretty far.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I just feel like I would fall for people's shit a lot.
I don't think you would as much as you think you would. You played before.
Also,
you know what to look for.
Yes. Well, do I? I mean, I thought that I did going into the house, and I was like, oh, everyone's lying. Then 2 weeks in, I'm like, oh, they're not lying to me. They're my friends. And it just, you know, but you live, you learn, Derrick.
You probably tried to trust too many people. The trick is only going with like one mainly, but a couple.
True.
Like I went in there and the only person I trusted unconditionally was Cody.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Nobody else had me like you did.
I remember reading, because before I went into Big Brother, I didn't watch Big Brother before this, so I had to research as much as I could. So I watched all of season 20. I watched some of season 19, and then I had read so many articles that said that you were the best Big Brother player of all time. So then I started watching season 16 because I wanted to research your gameplay, which couldn't adopt everything right away.
You did all right.
But I remember reading an article that you had done an interview, or you had done an interview for this article, and saying how your best advice was finding someone on the other side of the house and being final two with them, which is what you did with Cody. So you always had all eyes on everywhere in the house. So that's what I tried to do with Holly. But and it actually worked out pretty well. But that piece of advice that you had said in that interview way back when actually was a piece of gameplay that I tried to adopt.
No, I mean it's definitely not a bad thing, because if they're getting information from the other side, you can then go back and compare it, because that same person that they're talking to may say something completely different to them that they said to you, and that's when you know for sure they're lying to someone. You don't know what's the lie yet, but you automatically know they're not trustworthy.
Yeah.
So that's what happened with Donnie on my season. That's what happened with a couple other people. You know, they think like they're fooling you, but what they don't realize is the one that they're fooling. You got eyes everywhere. You know what I mean? So it kind of works out. Yeah.
So take a break from Big Brother, because I also want to hear your thoughts on Carole Baskin.
Oh, never heard her name before. Who's that?
Carole Baskin. She killed her husband.
I know.
Allegedly.
There you go, girl. There you go. Good job.
Well, I thought that maybe because earlier you had said how someone had gotten sued for the
no, you said it the right way.
That's I don't want to get sued.
No, but the way you said it's perfect. You can't get yourself in trouble. You're good. You said allegedly.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah.
You're good. So you're good.
Yeah.
I've heard Carole once or twice.
Do what?
I've heard about Carole Baskin once or twice.
So right after the whole like Tiger King craze, I heard that you were going to investigate her husband's murder. What is the status on that?
I wanted to. The issue with it, to be completely honest, is like everybody wants to. And so I think
everyone's not you, Derrick. Where is that confidence from? You're not intimidated by anybody, remember?
No, I mean, listen, I have like a network behind me, but the bottom line is they literally already had something filmed. Like they already had like a deal with a production company. So they announced that they're coming out with something but literally the production company that has it, like, had it before the show even aired on Netflix. So it's
Oh.
like, unfortunately, it's not like the world where you can like just go out there and say, I'm going to do this, because it's, you know, a conflicting network, you know, where we're both production companies. So I don't think it's going to happen, but we're going to talk about it. I'm doing like a little IG stream like you know, we have a podcast coming out. So we'll talk about it, and maybe something down the line, like a different version of it happens. But from what I've heard from the people that I work closely with, like everyone and their brother is trying to do Carol Baskin. But I will tell you this, I had one of the people on the show, I can't say their name, but they're directly on the show, reach out to me personally, unsolicited, and wants me to work the case. So the Discovery ID knows that. And so I have access to something that a lot of people do. But I told this person, if I can't do it, I'll help them in other ways.
Yeah.
But they're definitely somebody you all know. And they reached out to me personally, and we've been exchanging emails.
Oh.
But again, I don't want to step on anyone's toes. Because
Yeah.
like I said, ID is coming out with something. And, you know, I don't want to ruin that for them.
Dang. So,
Yeah.
I don't know if you could say this, but given the facts that you know, do you think she
Yeah.
did it?
You can't say she did it. I mean, because like, listen, let me just be devil's advocate for a second,
Man,
all right?
you're so
Like,
politically correct on this.
but hear me out, right?
Yes.
She's suspicious as shit, right? Like, it looks like she did it. How
Yeah.
many times has there been a situation where it looks like someone did something and then you find out it was someone else? And the reality is, if you put a gun to my head and said, who did it? Yeah, with what I know right now from a show, yeah, it looks like she did it. But this, you know, Don Lewis, what I would like to look into is his business dealings. You know, it's not very normal for someone to be taking planes back and forth to another country on a religious basis. So that's not something that you or I are doing. I will tell you, and I'm not insinuating this at all, but like that's indicative of drug smuggling and transporting illegal products. I'm not saying he had anything to do with that. I don't even have any, but it's something that I would want to look into to see who he was dealing with, because if you're dealing with bad people, they can make you disappear as well. So
that's true.
It's just
and
something
he
that
has
I would
hikers
look
on
at.
campus. Like they could just feed it. Ooh.
You got to look at all scenarios. But I will tell you, like Carol Baskin, I would want to look into that. I'd want to dig up her septic tank. I'd want to explore all options and try to start ruling them out one by one, so that if I rule out the possibility of, you know, him being involved in anything shady, you start to, you know, through reasonable deduction, you know, make a smaller suggestion as to what happened. Yeah.
I never thought about that, and my whole life has just recently changed.
I'm just saying it's something you got to think about, because there's a lot of people out there, again,
Yeah.
who it looks one way, but in reality something else happened. And that's how
Well, like Amanda Knox.
There's been others too. There's been others in the news recently where, you know, DNA ends up, you know, clearing the person. And if it wasn't for that DNA, they wouldn't have been cleared. So I never
Because back then
want
they
to
didn't have as good of DNA testing, I guess.
No, back then. And again, it's also one of those things where if you're a detective who makes a presumption based on a Netflix series, you're fucking horrible. So I won't do that, because again, they're only putting in the show what they want to put in.
That's
You
so
know,
true.
so it's just, you don't be too skewed by it. Do your own research. I just talked to a private investigator an hour ago. She went and got the court records for the whole thing. She looked at it herself, and they're available online. It's public information. So if you're bored and you want to do some cyber sleuthing, go and look it up. It's all on there. It's fascinating stuff.
Wow, that is fascinating.
Yeah.
Huh. So what's been as a private detective working on these unsolved murders, everything, what is the most interesting case that you have ever worked on? Can you tell us?
I mean, interesting case. I would have to say OJ, just because like I knew it as a kid. I was 10 years old when it happened, and like who wouldn't want to work on that case? Like I interviewed Kato Kalin at his house. You know what I mean? Like I got to do some crazy things on that case. But the case that I was closest to was one that was from my hometown. It was involving the murder, the abduction and murder of a 7-year-old girl.
Aww.
And that one was on season 1 of Breaking Homicide, and it's just a crazy case, and there's still things happening with it, and it's there's this new light to it, and some recent scientific development may actually result in an arrest. So that's probably the case I'm closest to, that I found the most interesting, because it was my hometown.
Yeah. Ooh, that hits really close to home, literally.
Check it out, Kat. You got some free time. Go watch Breaking Homicide.
No, I will.
Yeah, go watch it.
It's nothing. First of all, I didn't even watch Big Brother before I went on the show, so don't be offended that I don't watch Breaking Homicide. I just don't watch any TV.
You watched Tiger King.
Okay,
She hasn't actually finished it.
yeah, do you hear that? So I actually didn't. I started
Okay.
I watched my TV through social media. So I haven't watched it, but I have
Okay.
seen all the memes and all the tweets.
Yeah, you got to
That's how
check
I
it
watch
out.
my
There's some
shows,
good stuff
through
on
memes
there.
and
There's some good
tweets.
documentaries out there. You got to check them out.
Oh,
Sure.
I love like murder documentaries. That's why I'm kind of surprised that I haven't watched it, because I love like the Ted Bundy documentaries. Love it.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, the Amanda Knox documentary, all the O.J. Simpson documentaries, all the John Benet Ramsey ones, but
Mm.
I'll have to watch it. Do you know anything? Another one that someone in the comments had mentioned earlier. Natalie Holloway.
Oh yeah, that's a great case.
It's a great one. What
Aruba,
do you
yeah.
think happened?
Oh well, I mean,
Well, now we know what happened.
the German kid, the Van Buren, whatever his name is. Yeah, like that.
Well,
that
but
was pretty much.
He never actually.
He killed someone else. He killed his
Yeah,
next
but
girlfriend.
didn't he get off for Natalie Holloway and then he killed someone else?
He did. There's not enough evidence for that one, but I think anyone with a brain assumes allegedly that he killed her as well.
Think.
Again, the best predictor of future behavior is past behavior.
Yeah.
Right. And in this situation, he killed another girl, similar age, brutally. So clearly, Vandersloot, thank you very much, whoever put that in the room. So he's a scumbag, and I would assume he was a lot. No, he's a scumbag. We can say that.
Okay, we can say. Okay, we won't get.
He's been convicted. He's been convicted of
scumbag people.
He's been convicted of murder. So
okay, good. Yeah, he sucks.
He's a scumbag. And he was the last person seen with her. So again, process of elimination. It's probably him. And I think they even had him on. I think they even had him on audio recording talking about it or something. So
I remember hearing that.
yeah. No, he reasonable degree of certainty. I believe he was involved with Natalie Holloway's murder.
I agree. Can we talk about Casey Anthony?
Yeah, I've talked about that a lot. I
like literally live for this kind of stuff. Wait, tell me your thoughts on this case.
I believe, based on the facts and circumstances, with a reasonable degree of certainty that Casey Anthony was involved in her daughter's death. I don't necessarily believe that it was intentional, although there is evidence that would suggest it was. I know they found something on her computer after the trial that suggested chloroform. But her father, George, was a former police officer. Their relationship and how it kind of fell out afterwards leads me to believe that there was probably something there where something happened and the parents helped her in fixing it, because the way her body was disposed of is someone who seems to have a background in criminal justice or investigations, the way she was dumped and stuff like that. So, and it's interesting, if you want to, again, I feel like I could talk, I can go real into the weeds on this.
Go in the weeds.
Okay. So
I love it.
So I was on Dr. Oz and I looked this information up because I'm not a scientist by any means, but in Casey Anthony's car, there were fly larvae. But the thing about the fly larvae that was interesting was they were specific types of flies. They were called coffin flies. Coffin flies are normally found with decomposing flesh. So these were found in the trunk of her vehicle after a canine dog, cadaver dog, hit on the trunk of her vehicle. So again, these flies are not like a normal, you wouldn't find these in your trunk of your vehicle.
Unless you had a decomposing body.
Right, and that was after a cadaver dog, which is trained to find bodies, hit on her trunk as a possible location of a body at one point. Coincidence? Coincidence?
I think not.
Okay, there we go.
Dang, crazy. Oh my gosh, okay.
Yeah.
So, I'm curious to know, aside from the characteristic of curiosity that every private detective has to have, what made you want to get involved in this line of work?
I really didn't. Honestly,
you just stumbled into it? Because how could you just stumble into unsolved murders?
As a kid, well, you go up through the ranks. Like, to become a police officer, I didn't have ambitions to be a cop. I wanted to play professional baseball. I went to college to play professional baseball. Realized that wasn't going to happen. I wasn't good enough. Simply, I wasn't good enough. And as a kid, I got in a lot of fights. I grew up in a tough neighborhood, and the chief of police at the time was only a patrolman, and he kind of took me under his wing and kind of kept me out of trouble. And when I was old enough, I was 20 years old, I was home for the summer, and he said, well, why don't, instead of you getting in trouble by the cops, come work for him? And, so I took the test, the physical agility test. It was about 300 or 400 people, and I finished first at 20 years old.
Wow.
So he called me in his office and he said, listen, I don't really even know how to tell you this, but you finished first. And everything is telling me I probably shouldn't hire you, but I have to at least offer you finished first, and there's nothing
Yeah.
to like. There's nothing to rule
You're
you
a
out.
natural.
So he's like, I got to offer it to you, but if you fuck up, I'll fire you the first day. So I was like poor. I didn't have money. I just graduated with an associate's degree. I thought it'd be kind of cool. And then I stumbled into it. And then from there, I did my first undercover case when I was 21. And then I fell in love with it.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So, but now I love it. Like I found my passion.
That's what I was going to ask.
Accidentally.
If you loved it now.
Yeah, no, clearly I'm doing it, you know, for free a lot of the times when I'm doing stuff. And then, you know, it's cool to like share that with people who have the same passion for it. Like I've met a lot of interesting, very smart, way smarter than me people throughout the experience, pathologists, biologists, like just people who are Henry Lee. If you look him up, he's like literally a genius. So like it's been a cool experience. I've been very, very fortunate.
That's awesome. I don't know if I'm about to freak you out with this conspiracy.
Oh, Jesus.
What do
Okay.
you know about conspiracy theories?
Well, I'm not a conspiring bitch. I know that much.
Okay.
All right.
I beg to differ.
Okay.
But
True.
I'm kidding.
Okay, maybe.
Okay, so there is a conspiracy theory about people that know too much and they get cloned.
Okay.
Human cloning, but they kill off the person that knows too much to them, have them just carry on their life with human cloning. Have you ever been faced with any sort of case like this? And I can't believe I'm asking this.
Yeah. No.
Okay, so you're saying it's not real.
I mean, I guess anything is possible, but I haven't seen anything. I don't think that science is advanced enough yet to do it. Although they are like cloning lambs and like rats and shit.
Humans, but they can clone humans. But yeah, I have the documentaries that I've seen about it really aren't that convincing. So
yeah, I'll leave that one to you. Why don't you work on that one and get back to me and we'll compare notes.
Okay,
right.
Derrick, this could be our first case.
This could be the first case.
Murders/human cloning.
Can you just make sure it's in like a really beautiful location like Hawaii or Aruba or somewhere like that?
I hear that most of the human cloning murder cases happen in Fiji. So.
I'm in. If you go back and never watch Breaking Homicide, you'll notice that 2 of the cases out of the 2 seasons, 2 of them were in Hawaii.
Well, you mentioned Hawaii.
Yeah,
so what part of Hawaii were you in?
I was in Oahu for the first year, and then the second year I went to Kauai.
Nice.
And again, I didn't go there.
Kauai is beautiful.
Yeah, I didn't go there because of the cases for anyone who's like, oh, but it just so happened, and it didn't hurt. I'll say that much. And Kauai I loved because that's where they filmed Jurassic Park. But yeah. And actually where we found the body, where the body was like where they filmed Jurassic Park. So I got to go like see it all. Like we traveled up into the mountains to find it, and that's where they filmed it. Yeah, it's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And y'all found the body. I have to watch.
Well, we didn't find the body. That's where the body was. So
okay. I found the body. I was like,
I pride myself on going to like where it actually happened. So we like trucked up the mountain in the boots and walked all the way into it. It was crazy. It was nuts.
Crazy. I wonder why Hawaii. Like why two cases that you.
One was the Honolulu Strangler, which was a serial killer case. We solved that one, in my opinion. We solved it. And then the second one was another case where there was one main victim, but we believe there might have been multiple. And it just the cases. They had police participation. They had witnesses still alive. So all the ingredients that I need in order to do a case, but a case that I can film, it had it. And then obviously from a production standpoint for the director, you have this beautiful backdrop. So it helps tell a story. And yeah, it was a good one. Anyone who wants to check it out, there's no plug for me, but you can go on. I know I'm checking it out. You can go on Amazon, YouTube, iTunes, Discovery ID app. It's all there. It's all free. So if you have cable, you should check it out. How many episodes are there? 6 the first season, 8 the second.
I just found out what I'm doing for the rest of quarantine.
You gotta check it out. And then you're gonna be like texting me like, all right, gotta ask a question. Because that's what happens every time.
No, I really will. So I don't know if you want me to watch because I will blow you up with all these questions.
You add it to the list.
With the group text.
Yeah, dude, it's a lot.
Can you tell me, you said that you feel like you solved the Honolulu Strangler.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I guess spoil it for me. How did you tell me about that case? Because I don't even know about it.
It's tough to summarize in like a few sentences, but okay. So the individuals was 5 women. They were all strangled and tied up with electrical cord. and all of them were raped, but none of them had any semen on their body. Sorry, I told you it's going to get bad. Although one of the women had a partial sperm on her body. So we started looking into that. And
That means super tiny.
It could mean that, but it could also mean that they have a reproductive problem, right? Or a vasectomy. So we started doing research. There was a white van of them.
This is good. Okay.
That we found an individual who was around that time who drove the road where all the bodies were found during that time period. We found a witness who said that he looked like one of the suspects. The suspect had a white van. This individual had a white van. And finally, I contacted his wife because this individual's dead, the suspect. I contacted the wife and was just talking to her about her kids. And when she said he had kids, I was like, oh, it's not him. And then she goes, but then he had a vasectomy after he left, and he moved to Hawaii by himself and left me in California. And I was like, bam, got him,
Dang, I hate whenever the suspects die because then you never know.
Yeah, it was crazy. I will say this, the fortunate thing about it was the family that reached out to me to look into the case, we told them the information, and her parents were like screwed up for the rest of their lives because of this, understandably so. The brother came to us. I connected him with the original detective who worked the case. We told him who did it. He went back and told his mother. She passed away 2 weeks later. And in Hawaiian culture, like he emailed me and told me, like, I truly believe, like, the only reason she passed away right after it, and she was peaceful. And I was like, you start to like tear up because it's like, damn. And so that's what makes it all worth it, right? Like, that's why you do it.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, that's so, I'm not going to say I love that because that's so sad, but that is so true that I believe that you get for closure. That's amazing.
Yeah, and someone just said, who was the brother? The brother of the victim. That's who enlisted our help. So that's who we sat down with at the end to tell them what happened.
That's insane. Man.
Yeah, so, it was crazy.
Anastasia Christofi asked earlier, how do you sleep at night when this is your job?
Honestly, I don't want to be morbid, but I don't. I mean, that's why I like have dark eyes and stuff. Like ever since being a cop, like one of the reasons I'm glad I'm not in the street anymore is I'm not going to get into it, but you can Google what I've been through. I've been called out for a lot. And it was a very traumatic thing. I'll just say I was in a shooting, and unfortunately the other guy didn't make it. And I was at 23 years old. So like things like that a human shouldn't have to go through, but you do. And so you can either let it overtake you and kind of put you in like this depressed state, or you can overcome it and use it as a tool to say, if I could overcome that, I can overcome anything. And that's just kind of like what I chose to do. So now going through that experience, I honestly don't think there's anything I can't do. Like I can't overcome. Like I've been through the most adverse situation. The man tried to kill me. He was 4 feet away from me, tried to kill me. And I didn't freeze, So like if I can overcome that, I can overcome anything. And that's kind of how I turned like a negative for me into a positive. And so like these things, like I'm sitting here and I'll be researching something for like 7 hours, but I'm like, you know what? It could be worse. I could be the person I'm researching, the victim I'm researching.
That's true.
And so you're doing it for them. So like, it just drives you. But I sleep like 4 or 5 hours a day. So I don't sleep well.
Dang, Derrick.
Melatonin is my best friend.
Wait, so what part of the, where do you live?
Rhode Island.
What time zone is that?
East Coast, so in New York.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
I was trying not to like. I was like, Kat, don't go, don't. Oh, she went there. She asked it. Sorry.
Just when I think that I'm actually in Mensa, I'm not.
I was trying to. I kept a straight face for most of it, though. I did. I tried. I did. I was there for you, but
thanks.
The disadvantages of live, because that would have been cut out.
Oh my gosh, I was interviewing someone from BB Canada, and they told me that, okay, I can't believe I'm repeating this, but they told me that the winner gets $100,000, and I was like, what the heck? Why do they get more than the winner of Big Brother? And then
Okay. But it is tax free though.
Oh.
Canada's tax free.
Oh.
So after taxes with the Big Brother winners, it's not as far apart as you think.
Yeah, but I'm just, I never claimed to be smart. I only claimed to be.
You're smart.
I'm kidding. No, I'm sorry. I'm kidding. I am smart.
You are. Yeah. I love self-deprecating humor, but like, you're smart. Listen, you convinced the room full of TV. You convinced. Stop talking about the time zone. I'm trying to segue here. I'm trying to save you. Let me save you. Okay, let me save you. Okay.
Somebody has to.
I'm trying.
Sorry, okay. Oh, okay.
What I was saying
I'm
is
gonna talk.
a lot of people don't give themselves enough credit, but being able to convince a room full of TV executives to put you on a show in front of 6 million people means you're clearly smarter than you even think you are. So that's, and I mean that. I'm not just saying it like props.
No,
So
I
yeah.
tested, okay, I will say in my defense, I tested the highest for having a photographic memory. They didn't ask me about maps, but my photographic memory.
I was just gonna say, I'm assuming the test
like.
didn't include geography on it, right? It was just kind of.
Oh, wow.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. So Rhode Island is the smallest state in the United States. It's right underneath Massachusetts.
Okay. Oh, that was embarrassing, but whatever. We're in this. Okay, but I'm not even gonna get up here. But
have you been drinking? Is this like a drinking thing? Did I miss?
No,
did I not
I'm
bring
not
a drink?
even drinking this week.
Oh,
it's
all
so
right.
bad.
I messed up.
So this is sober me.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, you don't get this a lot. I'm kidding. No, it's so it's almost 10 o'clock where you are, right?
Correct. Congratulations.
Okay, okay, I was shaking when I asked you that, but
yeah, no, good job.
Oh, okay. So anyway, so what is next for you? What is your next big project? As soon as quarantine ends, what is the first thing you want to do?
Okay, so I have a TV project in the works that was shut down because of the coronavirus.
But not the third season.
The third season for Breaking Homicide is completely TBD. We haven't filmed anything, and every season is case by case. So I don't know what's going to happen. I hope it comes back. I hope we do another one. But there's like, and you probably know this, but like, you're not guaranteed like 3 or 4 seasons in cable. It's not the way it works.
No,
so
I didn't know that, but
well, I'm hoping it comes back, but we'll see. But I have another project that I signed for before this, and we were supposed to film in April, and unfortunately, April is here and has come and gone, and I completely understand. And it could take a while for it to come back. Signed a deal for a podcast. I kind of put that out there tentatively, and again, it got shut down because the advertisers that do it, Audio Boom, can't do it right now. They're not getting advertisers. So
everyone's
it's all hanging. But I'm still working. Like I said, I still do cases. I don't just do them for TV or for podcasts. So I'm just going to kind of continue to do the same thing. I always like to try to find positive ways to like spin things, and like I see my daughter going to school, so it motivated me to. I have a graduate degree, like a master's, and I have a master's degree in business, but I wanted to kind of like diversify a little bit. So I just got accepted to University of Rhode Island, and I'm going to go for my master's in cybersecurity.
That's
just
awesome.
Just because I want to expand. Just because I want to expand in cyber investigations or something that I can't currently do without like subcontracting it out. So I want to understand it, and it's something I can do from home. And this is a time where you want to do it. So I'm just like, you know, I got my MBA. Now I want to do cyber. You know, so we'll see.
Wow, good for you.
Yeah, it should be fun. Should be fun.
Yeah, well, good luck with everything.
The podcast, people are asking the podcast.
Oh, yeah.
I can't say the name yet. I probably even shouldn't say what I said, but I said it. So it is what it is. But it's coming out. It's coming out. If
Burke sues us, then I'll let you know.
Yeah, no, it's all good. It'll come out eventually. Like I said, there's like a process when you're doing the podcast with a company. They have to sell the advertising before it'll get released, because otherwise they don't make money. So that's kind of how it rolls. So it's kind of like a chicken before the egg type thing, but it's going to be exciting. It'll be fun. We'll see what happens. You should do like an official podcast. Are you thinking about translating this or like doing it on multiple platforms?
I actually have no idea. I didn't know that so I originally wanted to start this as just a way to, lighten the mood during quarantine and give people a reason to smile and, bring on some of my Big Brother friends. And then I didn't realize that this was going to go longer than 2 weeks. So now we're over a month in. And it's kind of becoming my thing. So
do you like it?
I love. Oh, it's so much fun. I look forward to it every day.
Then what's the question? Why are you? Do you get what I'm saying? Like you're doing one a week, you're doing one a day, which is extremely difficult. So if you decided to do a podcast where you did it one a week, like most podcasts, that would be child's play compared to this.
Yeah.
And you could monetize it by doing multiple platforms. So
That's
you
true.
do it on something like this. You make an audio version. You post it on this YouTube TV or whatever it is, and you're triple dipping.
Dang, triple dipping. That's true.
Yeah.
Well, man. Okay, so if I started doing a podcast or whatever of the sorts, would you come on again?
Of course I would.
Yay.
Of course I would. This was really great. I think it's a great thing. And, the thing is, like, to hold someone's attention for an hour is difficult. And you have that gift, like, just naturally.
Oh,
so
thank you.
I definitely think, like you just said, it was 10 o'clock. It didn't feel like we've been on that long.
We'll go for another hour. I'm kidding.
But I'm just saying, that's a talent. So
Oh, thank you.
I think that, like, you should take this and just see it for what it is. Like, embrace it. Like, you just did it for fun, and it turned into a passion, and now you perfect it and make it like a profession as part of whatever else you're doing.
Thank you, Derrick. That's so sweet.
Well, I mean,
yay. Maybe I will. Maybe I will.
Call it how I see it. If you obviously have people, how many people you have watching right now? You have a lot of people, right?
Yeah, we do. And the comments have been popping all day.
Yeah, so there you go. So
hour.
the people have spoken. They want more.
I love it. Well, yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Derrick. It was an honor.
My pleasure.
And now you know who I am, so now I don't have to introduce myself as a BB21 house guest.
I'm going to put you have to DM me your contact info, and I'm going to put you in as Kat from Big Brother.
Yeah, I love it. And
so I don't forget.
Breaking Home Aside, and I'm going to I might binge watch it all night, to be honest.
You're not going to watch it.
No, I am.
Okay, well, I'll be expecting a text message saying...
You think I'm a conspiring bitch.
Possibly.
No, I'm going to watch, just for that,
okay. Now you're calling yourself out because you're going to say you're going to watch it, and then you're going to say, oh, this episode was cool. And I'm going to say, well, what'd you think of this scene? Okay.
No, if I say I'm going to do something, I do it.
Okay. I'm going to hold you to it.
Well, thank you for joining us, Derrick. No. You are the best. Thank you so much.
All right. Talk to you later, guys. Take care. Bye.
Bye.